What is up, my friends? Ryukin here. Just a quick intro before we get started. This was a test for a podcast that my friends and I are working on. We just did a one-off, and it was mainly just so I could get used to putting everything together and editing and all that fun stuff. You'll notice that in the background of my audio, you'll hear a lot of radio chatter, and it's because I was at work when we did this. Just got called in short notice, but that definitely won't happen with the podcast. So yeah, this is the end product. The podcast won't be broadcasted to YouTube like this. It'll be put up on Spotify, but more info on that later. Anyway, enjoy the episode.
So the main idea of this whole one-off is to be as confusing as possible, and that you basically are giving characters you know next to nothing about.
Yep.
I'm going to run this scenario. We're going to do theater of the mind, just so we can get used to it, because in a podcast setting, that is obviously kind of how you have to run it. Just so if you don't understand, the viewers won't understand. So I basically have to do a better job explaining.
Indubitably.
And I've got like a good storyline set up, and we're just gonna kind of wing it, and hope you guys can figure it out, and we'll just have some fun.
Okay. Also, I just gave myself a bit of a minor aneurysm as I couldn't quite figure out as to why my damage for my weapons were D6 still, but I remembered, 5e doesn't change damage types based on size.
No. You've been playing Pathfinder, haven't you?
I've been hosting 2 Pathfinder games for the past year to 2 years.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of that.
5e's.
There's going to be a lot of that mix-up. I do apologize.
Oh, it's fine. I understand.
Yeah.
I sometimes I get a little bit of 3-5 sneaking in here every now and then.
Well, at least if you're playing Pathfinder and you had some 3-5 sneak in, that's not that big of an issue at that point. But
well, yeah, it's kind of based off 3-5.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so our intrepid heroes, our adventuring party here, let's call them the trio of heroes, because everything else was taken. No one else had the audacity to call themselves the trio of heroes, and yet here we are. They were going to be the quartet of heroes, but one of them got sick and had to go take a nap today.
How unfortunate.
That's okay. Joe needs his rest.
Mm-hmm.
So our trio of heroes took on a job recently where you were basically sent out to this small village where a weird disease has been spreading. A good druid, where's her name?
Pelagius.
Minimri. No, her name is Minimri. Minimri basically sent for help because she is essentially at her wit's end trying to solve the problem of this disease that's just going around town. It's basically just making everyone sick, nauseous, pukey, and they're having a real hard time keeping anything down. And she's just being, just at her wit's end, can't figure out what's going on. But she has contacted the Adventuring Guild, which has sent you, the trio of heroes, to go basically either help her, just relieve her, give her some help, figure out what's going on, and all that you know is that it's not airborne, it doesn't spread on physical contact. That's about all you know.
Immediately gonna eye Pelagius there, out of character.
I am about ooze, not about disease.
Then you might want to think about a legal name change.
It's Pelagius, not Plagius.
Hey, you have a lot of the same letters as plague in your name.
Meanwhile, the druid Black Deathka says, "Good luck on your adventure, Plagius."
You know that druid right there? He seems like a nice guy. Unlike you.
Whatever, tiny cat.
Hey, I may be tall, but I may be small, but I'm fierce. You saw what I did to those goblins in the last job?
No, actually I didn't, because you're so small.
Right. I didn't bring along a letterbox, so I hope you used the facilities over there.
This cat has...
As our trio of heroes continues to essentially throw japes back at one another, which is playful banter, nothing more. We all understand that. You arrive at the just the small little hamlet of my favorite little village name. I like to call something town_name.
Very quaint. Very, very.
Very homely. A lot of the
Yes.
buildings seem quite flammable and prone to destruction in such a small, remote village.
As Milvana contemplates her more violent tendencies,
It is a flaw.
the trio of heroes, you notice that something is a little off about this village as you approach it. If you would give me an insight roll, I would be able to tell you what's going on. Bryke, Thundercaller, as well as Pelagius. Melvana's just a little too busy trying to, think about the best way to burn this village to the ground. The other two of you realize that as you enter this village, there's really nobody around. There's like no noise. There's not a lot of activity, no hustling and bustling. This looks like a pretty good-sized village, but there's just not a lot of people around. As you're noticing this, you can see what looks like a lady running from one building to another. Almost pays you no mind whatsoever. Just hurriedly walking outside from one building, rushes into another, what looks to be perhaps a tavern or inn.
Okay.
Well, this village or hamlet, it looks like it's in more worse shape than I thought.
What does this lady look like?
Just a typical dwarven villager. That's just,
Okay, so it doesn't seem like a...
If you tried to pick her out of a crowd, it would be difficult.
Okay, so it's normal...
She's wearing the same red and white striped shirt as just about everyone else.
Okay, so it's not like, say, like any person of station, like, say, local priest or anything like that, just normal villager garb, like
just normal, everyday villager.
Yeah, so Kemp lending clothing, stuff like... Okay. I guess Milvana would just yell out and ask her, "Hey! Where is everybody? What's going on?"
Alright, you yell that out, and it doesn't seem like anyone has heard you, or maybe they don't care.
Even the lady that's running around? Okay.
She just kind of ducked into the tavern.
Oh, okay.
Aye, Pelagius, I will suggest we head to that tavern. Maybe we will find some clues.
And ale.
And ale. Ale sounds good.
Fine. But if anyone pets me, I'm taking a finger.
Well, you better dodge them then.
You don't have to get that comfortable.
Milvana's racial ability is solely to dodge pets.
Somebody throws a pet at her. Not that kind of pet.
But yes.
Let's head into this tavern.
Alright, so I assume all three of you are heading there. As you sort of enter the tavern, you don't really see there's like nobody in the tavern right now, but you can hear kind of a hustle and bustle coming from back in the kitchen, and you can easily see just like some people moving back and forth. Eventually one of them does notice you and kind of comes over to the bar and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, adventurers, but we're closed. You don't want to be in town_name right now. We're in a bit of trouble, as it were."
That is no concern, as we are here to help. We are looking for the local druid. Miriam?
Minimri!
Memory, yes.
Minimri, yes.
Memory.
She's over at the old, it's Farmer_name's place. She's set up in the barn, but you might want to stay clear that the pox has taken many of people there.
Can you tell us more about the pox?
I'm afraid you'll probably want to go talk to Minimri. She knows more than I do. I'm just boiling clothes and preparing bandages and trying to get some food together, and
I see.
We're all just kind of running pretty ragged, and it's only a matter of time before I get it, I'm sure.
Yes. Well, we will go see Merimri.
Just head out the tavern and head west for about a mile, and you'll see the farm, no problem.
Thank you kindly.
Okay.
Hi.
Let us go.
All right, so assuming you don't dawdle around town or set any buildings on fire, you head outside the tavern, head west, just kind of leisurely.
While we are, heading out of town, may I look, as we are walking through the little hamlet, can I just look around and see if there's, other people around or people being sick or, just to get a glimpse of what's going on here?
Yeah, you can poke around town and you notice that as you're walking around, you'll see people inside windows, and if you call them, they're like, "Oh, don't come near. We're trying to quarantine. Stay away and make sure we don't cause more of a burden because there's a lot of people sick, and I don't want to go outside because I'm scared."
Well, I do have Intelligence 9. I wonder if I think this is all some form of conspiracy to make people think they're sick.
And off in the distance, you notice a large tower that's got 5 goblins in it, so it could be like a 5G tower, yeah. And they're launching these rats off of this. No.
It's a 5G.
No, this is a pretty big town, and you're only seeing people in every 10th house or so. So there's a lot of people that seem to be. I see.
This place is morphing.
Does it seem like people are social distancing?
Well, they're social distancing because everyone else is sick.
Are they wearing masks?
They're not wearing masks. They're just hanging out.
Burn the village!
Can I roll perception to see if we smell any burn pits, considering if it's that large of population difference because of the sickness?
No, it's like a small town, probably 50 to 100 people. It's not a huge village.
Okay, but it's still the fact that there's that many people sick and potentially dying from it in mass. That's kind of hard to bury that many people that quickly.
Well, you don't need to roll a perception check because you don't smell ash or smoke or anything like that, and you don't see a pyre or anything. So you're assuming there's not a mass grave.
Either there's no mass grave yet because this is early on, or they just haven't gotten around to disposing of the dead yet.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can't really be sure without further investigation.
Yeah.
And you assume perhaps if there's anything to be found else in town, you would have to spend hours looking.
Yeah.
But perhaps Menimri knows more.
Most than likely. It's not like we can do any shopping, because 1, the shops are probably closed due to social distancing, and 2, I don't have...
Oh, the shops are closed, but you can... I mean, if your moral compass...
I have no coin.
...were not so good. Or if you had no moral compass, I mean, you could resort to looting and let the town die. But that's up to you. I don't think podcast viewers would be...
Well, they might enjoy a little bit of a...
I don't know. Maybe some people are into that.
Yeah. Or, if we are a little bit morally gray group, we may do some, minor reappropriation of wealth.
Melvana is chaotic good, but considering the size of this village, there's probably not much of worth stealing.
Yes. And besides, we're going to go and meet the Mirim?
Yeah.
Murmur?
Menimri. You just call her that one druid, if you have to.
No, I will make a running joke of calling her M something.
I only know her as druid_name.
As we're making our way to Menimri, Melvana's just going to raise the fact again. It's like, this place just seems really forgettable. If something were to happen to this place, I'm sure no one in the kingdom or land would ever recall that this place existed and something happened to it.
What place?
Yeah, it's like you just feel like you're never going to visit this place ever again.
It's like this place is meant to have bad things happen to it, and it's one of thousands of villages of that like.
In fact, it's so difficult to remember that I'm already forgetting.
And as you get that thought, you feel as if the gods themselves are planning to preserve this town for a later date. At which point, maybe, perhaps, if you were to make enemies of this town, another adventuring group could come along and perhaps hunt you down.
Maybe.
No, moving on.
Yeah.
Eventually, you do make your way to farmer_names farm. And you notice that you get close as there is a fair amount of hustle and bustle near this farm, and it looks like the fields are pretty much unattended. There's farming equipment out there. The cows are still in the fence, so they're fine. But there's like a bunch of white cloths kind of draped around the farmhouse. There's a big sign on the barn that's basically in common just reads "Keep Out," and most of the activity seems to be centered around that barn.
Well, I think we found the barn. And Merimdri. Maybe, possibly, probably. As I look around at the people, how sick do they look like? Like, are they just feeling uncomfortable and queasy, or are they like, Walking Dead? Like, I feel so.
Well, interestingly enough, as you're watching these people kind of walk around, you notice they don't have like a spring in their step. They're not like super hurried, but they are, they're still carrying like cloths and buckets and, just doing whatever. And then like as you're walking, you can see one of them kind of lean up against the barn door and just kind of like catch his breath and just like put his hand to his head, and he's just like, you just hear him moan. And one of the other people goes and grabs him, like pokes him over his shoulder and kind of leads him into the barn.
Yep, we're in the right place.
So you notice that, like, they're not doing great, but they're not like puking their guts out.
Yes. Wonderful. I mean, not wonderful in that way, but anyway, let's move on.
Plagueis?
So, Plagueis.
Pelagius!
Saying things are wonderful.
It's Pelagius, not Plagueis.
Pelagius, why do you keep arguing with somebody about correcting your name? You're just yelling at the sky every now and then.
Hush, their voice in my head. This is important.
Turning into an ooze does things to the mind. Just kind of messes with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you continue down this road, this nice picket fence next to you, someone kind of rushes up to you, and they're dressed in like somewhat clean clothing, still kind of more or less rags. And they're just like, "Oh, sorry, sirs, please, you can't go any further. We're having a terrible outbreak of the pox."
I see, but we are here to help by the request of Murmur.
Murmur?
Merim?
Who?
The druid.
Miranda.
Miranda writes.
I don't know anyone by that name, but perhaps you mean Menimri?
Yes.
Yes, Marjorie.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, yeah.
I know I'm not the smartest person here, but how come I'm the only one of the three of us who can remember names?
I don't know, sir. But
Sir?
if you'll follow me, I'll... I don't know, ma'am, but if you'll follow me, well, I'll let you... this way, please.
Thank you, sir.
And she just kind of like folds her hands in front of her, puts her head down, and walks quickly towards the farmhouse.
What a lovely person.
Yes. Okay, yep. Yeah, we'll follow. What's the...
I'm going to leave, like, couple persons, distance to the person, but yes, I'm following.
Yeah, same.
And you guys can split up if you want. You don't have to all go together.
But we are the group of 3 heroes, or something like that.
trio of heroes.
Trio
Well,
of heroes.
we still
yes.
gotta figure out what's going on and why she called for us here first before we start questioning
s-
the sick people.
Yeah, we can split up later and mess up everything later.
Yeah.
All right, so this kind of handmaiden just leads you into the farmhouse, back to like the master bedroom, and in there you can see like tons of papers just scattered across the floor. This in front of you is just this wood elf, this female wood elf. She's got long curly blonde hair. She's got kind of this rough bronze skin from just kind of being out in the sun. Very tall, very lean, and she just kind of got like you see like bits of maybe wheat in her hair, and she's just kind of messy and frazzled, and she looks like she's at her wit's end, and she's just like going over these papers, just kind of muttering to herself, and the little handmaid just kind of gives us quite knock, just pardon me, Miss Minimri, the adventuress you called for, and then she just kind of looks over at you guys. It's just like, oh, you're here. Oh, thank goodness. Please, come in.
We shall.
Come in and probably... she's on the opposite side of the desk, right?
She's just by a desk.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I was about to say, because if...
She's not across a desk. She's standing, just kind of going through papers.
Okay, if it was across the desk, I would assume that when Melvana walks up, all you can pretty much see is probably the tip of her head and her ears, considering her height.
She's like, you're from the Adventuring Guild, yes?
Yes, you
Yes.
called us Mimi and we came.
It's Minimri, but, oh, thank goodness. Oh my gosh, I am so tired
And an elf.
of taking care of these people. Like, bless their hearts, but I am just strained and pulled, and there are so many of them, and I need help.
Oh, yeah, we'll be willing to help and everything and stuff like that, but I do have a question for you. Considering how forgetful these people seem to be, just like, I can't even recall how many people we saw there, much less anything about the village. Why help them?
This is, well, my village. I help them attune with nature and basically keep the forest spirits happy and the field spirits happy, and trying to stop this disease from spreading to the rest of the kingdom. You know, typical druid stuff. Isn't that right, Pelagius? Because all druids know each other.
Yes, of course, every druid knows each other, because the world is so small and there's not too many druids. So of course we know
Yeah.
each other.
How is Black Deathicus? I haven't seen him in forever.
Busy doing his own stuff. I think he is reforesting someplace. Or something like that.
Reforesting or deforesting?
I can't really remember.
I think he's speaking to a bunch of, if I recall correctly, you mentioned it, he's speaking with a bunch of Ents and Trents and trying to get them to move the force to a different location.
Oh, that Black Deathicus.
That could have
sounds
been
just
it.
like him. How are his pet rats doing? Oh, look at me. Go on. Yes, well, I do need your help. Please?
Certainly. After all, this is why we're here, and we're getting paid for it. I think. We're getting paid, right?
Oh, you're getting paid? Oh, that must be great. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm a druid. I don't care. She just kind of looks around and finds some papers on the floor. Yes, the pox, let's see, manifested here about 2 weeks ago. Here we go. Yes, she's just kind of picking up papers off the floor, trying to collect herself. It's like, symptoms started probably about 2 weeks ago. Mainly just nausea and vomiting, and really they can't keep anything down. Oh, it's terrible. And they're losing all their strength. They can't eat much, and the only thing they can really keep down is good berries, and that's pretty much all I've been eating myself too, because it's just gotta keep them hydrated, gotta give them water, and it's the darndest thing. They go through it about 3 days, and they start eating again, and then they fall sick again, and it's terribly persistent. And I'm trying to find out what exactly it is, so that we can get rid of it. I've tried casting Cure Disease, and that gets rid of the symptoms, but they just come back a few more days later.
Have you checked the local water source?
Oh, yes, I've checked the local water source. It's very clean. I helped them build the well.
Well. But have you tried to give them small amounts of coal?
I'm sorry, coal?
Coal or charcoal?
Charcoal.
Charcoal. For poisoning. No, I haven't done that. But we can attempt that tonight if you wish.
Yes, in small doses it should help.
Poisoning.
Have you tried leeches? How'd those help?
Yes, of course we've tried leeches. What do I look like to you? Some sort of...
Quack?
Yes, I'm a...
No, I was talking to that bird over there.
She looks over, there's just a dog and...
There was also those bird-masked people walking through town poking people with sticks.
No, I haven't called in the doctors just yet.
Okay.
I just needed your help to honestly, I need a nap. I need a good 12-hour nap and some good food. Again, I've been persisting on good berries this entire time. That's just about the only thing they can keep down. So honestly, just doing that would help. But if you could help me solve this, honestly, another set of eyes, ears, brains,
mouth,
just someone to look for another angle would be appreciated because we're honestly stumped.
Okay. Have you written all the things? What usually happens down? Maybe I can take a look and try to check if I know what kind of thing this is. I'm pretty good at medicine.
Go ahead and do a medicine check for me. She's basically described all the symptoms, and people recover about 2 or 3 days, but then they'll come down with it again later. It's like they're not building up an immunity at all. So you're, that's pretty much all you've got to go on. 18. So this does sound like something's happening to them. You're not entirely sure. It could be poison. She was going to try the charcoal thing, but she doesn't believe it's poison. But then she's like, "Oh, right, I could detect poison. I could do that. I'm a druid. I will try that right away."
Yes, I can do that too.
And she comes back like 10, 15 minutes later. It's not poison. But that was a good idea. See, this is why I called for the adventurers. What do you call yourselves again? I'm sorry.
Did you detect any kind of disease?
Yes, technically, because when I cast Cure Disease, it gets rid of it. But they just come back a few days later.
But if you can cast a spell Detect Poison, it also detects disease.
Yes, so I did detect diseases, and that's why I cast Cure Disease. But they just come back days later with the same symptoms, so I don't know what's happening.
Well, we must go and fight this horrible disease by talking to the people.
Yeah, and just for clarification, it tells you if there's a disease or not, but it doesn't tell you what disease it is.
Yep.
Yes, it just says, "Is this disease?" And it goes, "Yes."
Yes. It's just a positive or negative. Doesn't tell you anything else.
Yes.
Yes, initially I did cast Cure Disease, but then so many of the villagers came down with it, I had to stop doing that. And basically just subsisted on good berries.
If the water source seems... And you've detected poison and disease in the water source as well when you investigated it, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
The water source is perfectly fine.
What about the food?
What do you mean, what about the food?
What's the main source of nutrition in this village? Well, I have a 9 intelligence. I wouldn't use nutrition. What's the main source of eat and grub here?
Well, obviously we've got the wheat that we bake into bread. We've also got the cows that we milk, and it's very fresh, and I've checked up on the cows. They're very healthy, and they say they're fine. The wheat, obviously, I can't talk to. I don't know how to talk to plants. I never learned that one. But it does look healthy. There don't appear to be
what about
any sort of...
What about where the grain is stored and stuff?
Oh, we checked that. I asked around the cats and the rats, and they said, "Oh, no, the rats stay out of there because they're nice. We asked them to. I give them some other food so they don't have to pillage inside there. We checked inside, and it does look clean.
Okay.
I'm afraid I honestly have no clue.
At least with your
You
investigation.
take easy. You take easy and rest as we go and adventure towards the... What are we adventuring towards to? Right. Solution of this...
Barn, maybe?
Solution to this disease.
Yes, and it doesn't spread on contact or by air because, I mean, I've been here for the past 2 weeks, and I've had different servants in and out that have fallen ill, gotten better, fallen ill again. You know, the whole thing. But I'm fine.
But maybe it's because you have a name and are a plot-important NPC.
Oh no, I'm getting sick. That was a joke. No, I've honestly been worked at my wit's end here. I really need a break.
Just take like a 10-minute power nap. Like, I don't know, curl up nicely.
I'm gonna take like a 10-hour power nap.
Either way, just get into a nice chair, get in like next to a windowsill, and just bathe in the nice warmth of the sun and just take a nap.
Yes, let's...
I'm gonna... You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Pelagius, you're in charge for the next 12 hours. How does that sound?
That sounds... wonderful. Great, even.
All right.
I can do this.
If you need me, I'll be here. You can use all my things. Now, if you'll excuse me, and then she just like wild shapes into a cat, jumps up onto the windowsill, and promptly falls asleep.
That's cultural appropriation!
Maybe animals are immune to this disease and wild shape helps the druid somehow.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yes, that it. Yes, sure. Well, let's go with that.
I'm a dwarf.
Okay.
You can't expect.
I mean, if you could wild shape into a cat.
Yes. But
I suggest we split out and start looking for clues, Kang.
Okay.
Gang.
I'm gonna go check out to the grain site. I'm gonna go check out the grain storage area. I don't think this is anything caused naturally, at least from what we've been told. Because I probably would have noticed if there was someone casting a curse to affect this entire village.
Maybe they're quietly casting a curse.
How would you notice that?
Again, it's the 5 goblins on top of the tower throwing rats.
No, I don't know. I don't... You would have seen strange people that... I mean, considering it's a farming village filled of bunch of wheat fields, right? That's quite a lot of distance to cover to curse all of those people.
Yeah. So go ahead, we'll roll initiative, and we'll just go in order of what you guys want to do to investigate. Probably try and get some more information. Alright, so Bragg Thundercolor, we go to Yuho. What do you want to do first?
I'm familiar with water, so I'll go check the water supply.
Alright, Milvana, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go check out the grain silos and the grain storage just to try that out.
And Pelagius.
Pelagius will try to talk with people.
Alright.
That seems like the worst
Pelagius
idea of
is
the
going to
three.
work on his social skills.
Well, we are talking a person who turns into goo. I mean, his brain is not functioned, yes, no.
Dude, why do you look so sticky and acid-ridden?
I am not. I am a human right now. However, when you turn into goo, it kind of messes up with your brain.
I mean...
You know, it turns into goo. There's no synapses there.
I mean, when you drastically change your body's pH level to that degree, I'm pretty sure it's not normal.
I suppose if you stay that way long enough, you don't know who's who anymore.
Yeah, why do you have to goo that to me?
Alright, Bragg Thundercaller in the pungent, 1 minute. Alright, we'll start with Bragg. Yuho, Bragg, you decide to inspect the local water supply, both at the farm and back at the village, just to be thorough. So as you make your way to the farm water supply, you can see plenty of people are pulling water up out of it just for, cleaning claws and reducing fevers or whatever they might need it for. This water is just about the only thing they can drink right now.
Who put the outhouse 2 feet away from the drinking water?
You can see no outhouse nearby.
So what kind of system is the water coming from? Is it a well or...?
Yes, it's a well. It's like an underground aquifer.
Okay. So as the villagers are pulling up a bucket or whatever, like I would try to take a peek, like look if there's anything special or anything about the water.
All right, they're kind enough to kind of pour you a small mug, just kind of hand it to you, and use a knowledge nature check
Knowledge
or survival if you want. A nature check in 5e. Sorry. Okay, survival and nature. You kind of look at it, swirl it around, sip it, like, yep, that's water. Doesn't taste funny at all. It, tastes fine. Doesn't seem to be any problem with it.
Well, in hindsight, they treat him by having them drink a lot of water. I suppose if the water supply was tainted, that wouldn't make much sense. If they recovered, no, would it? Shrugs and goes to the other place where the water supply is. Just for good measure.
Yeah, alright, so you head into the village, and you find the well there. And there's still no one hanging around town. Just kind of the few odd faces peeking through windows. You managed to find the town well fairly easily. Same system. Rope, bucket, pulley.
Pull up a bucket of water if possible.
Alright, you managed to kind of work the system a bit and eventually get your bucket of water. You pull it up, take a look at it, pour it in your hands, and it actually, it doesn't taste as good as the farm water, but that's probably just because it has to travel so far from the river. But again, perfectly good water. Doesn't appear to have any kind of goo in it.
Hey, I take offense to that.
Any foul odor?
And it definitely tastes better than the kind of water that you had while sailing. It's fresh, it's not stale.
Alright, that's enough for me. I'd go back to wherever the veranda was.
And as you're kind of putting the bucket back down, ready to head back, this door nearby just kind of flies open as this mother starts carrying her child, starts running off towards this road you just came down. And you can go ahead and roll a perception check for me. All right, that's more than enough to see that he's kind of got like a puke stain on his shirt. So you can infer that perhaps this child just recently got sick.
Maybe it's worth talking to her later on. I'll try to...
Yeah, you kind of make a mental note of what she's wearing so you can pick her out later. All right, let's move on to Melvana. What were you doing again? You were checking the grain silo.
Yeah, grain silos, central food storages, and stuff like that, since it seems like the main source of nutrition in this village is, well, grain and wheat. Pretty much probably should check where they're stored, and probably... would they do the milling here, or do they send the milling to a different location?
Oh, you can definitely see there's a windmill, like off to the side, as well as... you ask around and you can find out there's actually a water mill probably down the road a ways, but they don't use that too much anymore, mainly just because it's easier with the windmill, and they can even set up like a manual mill with horses. But it does exist, it's out there, they just don't use it.
I will check the grain storages first, and then I'll check the two mills, because that's it.
Okay, as you're kind of poking around, you ask one of the people running around, like, where the grain storage is, and they kind of point you over there. It's like, it's over here. You want me to show you, tell you about it, all that?
Yeah, if you will.
Oh, sure. Miriam, I'm going on break.
She's already unconscious.
Oh yes, go ahead. No, that's my memory. This is Miriam.
Okay.
Get it straight. Anyways, I'm going over. Yes, go on break. And so she just kind of walks you around some of these structures. There's a shed. There's another smaller barn. There's like a small training area for horses. Eventually, you get to like the silos, or the grain storage, as it were. And as you notice, you get closer. You notice there's like a green mark just above the doors. Says, yes, this is the grain storage. Again, we've inspected it and made sure it was clean and all that good stuff. You'll notice that green arcane sigil there was placed by our very own Minimri to help keep the rats and the other vermin out.
I'm pretty sure I know how this roll's gonna go, but let's just see how familiar Melvana would be with this. I'm assuming
So roll
Arcana?
either nature or arcana. Either or.
Well, both are -1. So either way, let's go with Arcana.
Arcana 14. You know well enough that this is a druid symbol. You've seen Pelagius kind of scribble them in the dirt sometimes, or use them for setting up spells and whatnot. You don't know what it means, but you recognize it as a druid symbol of some kind.
Okay, gotta talk to Pelagius about that.
So if you want, you can kind of like scribble it down.
Yeah.
Like write it down in your paw, or however you want to.
Let me just check my inventory real quick. I think I got something for that. Explorer's pack. Let me check my Explorer's pack. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. My Explorer's pack's not listed what's actually in Explorer's pack. Okay, just 1 second.
So what it looks like is it kind of looks like a door shape, but there's also like a circle around the top of the door that connects to both the top corners. And I'm doing an absolutely terrible job of drawing it for you.
Was there any like just old wood lying around?
Yeah, there's some old planks lying.
Oh yeah,
around.
I'll just take one of those and just extend one of my claws and just etch it into the wood.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Because I don't have any kind of writing utensil right now, but might as well use what the gods gave me.
Yeah.
Are you literate enough to? Well, actually, you can just copy it. Never mind.
No, he's just drawing a picture.
Yeah,
it's
I'm just
fine.
copying the picture.
She can read picture books.
Mhm.
So it looks like that thing I drew without the bottom part of the circle. It's like 3/4 of a circle that kind of enclosed a door, like a rectangle shape that you assume is like a door.
Okay, so it's 3 sides of a rectangle and then 3 arches around those sides, as you were saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could probably draw it better now that I've got that circle on there.
That's fine.
But it's essentially, yeah, you get
Yeah,
the
no,
idea.
I got the idea. I'll just etch that onto the wood and then put that in my pack and just show that to Pelagius.
Pelagius.
Is there anything else you would like
No,
to...
I'll ask him here. It's just like, has anyone seen anyone suspicious around the grain silos or the mills as of late?
Well, no, just this one, small female cat person.
Hmm. What?
That was a joke. I meant it was you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were actually talking about a different cat folk. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. That was just a terrible joke.
Mm-hmm. I thought it might have just flown right over my head.
Well, that's not a very high bar.
All of you, pungent. 1 minute. Would you like to see inside?
Yes, please.
Take a look at our grain stores? All right, just 1 moment. And she kind of like puts her hand on the door and mutters like a small incantation. You kind of see that symbol glow just a little bit, just kind of like a quick flash. Only it's not really bright. It's just kind of, like a glow stick glow. And then she opens the door. He says, all right, you're free to come on in if you want to take a look.
What was that about?
Oh, just opening the ward so intruders are allowed in, more or less. It doesn't recognize you, so it would have given you a headache. A really bad one, too.
Who has, permission, then?
Oh, all the villagers, and, of course, Minimri, who set up the ward.
Okay. I guess I'll go in then. Start looking around.
And as you go in, there's kind of like just a small light in the center. It emits just like a faint glow. It's almost like some kind of bioluminescent mushroom, almost. Or some kind of glowing moss. You're not entirely sure. It's just a faint light, just so you can see what's going on.
Well, that would make sense, especially considering, is this processed or an unprocessed wheat and grain?
Well, off to the left, you see wheat and grain raw, and off to the right, you see flour.
Oh, thank God they don't have an open flame in here then.
Yeah, and in the middle, you can kind of see like some, what appears to be like crackers, perhaps, or dried bread of some kind.
What's with the snack?
Oh, well, dear, I'm married. Oh, you meant oh, yes, the crackers. Yeah, that's just emergency food supply. Thankfully, we haven't needed it for good on 15 years yet. Back in the famine.
A famine?
The kid... 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's not important to this story, don't worry about it. It's just flavor text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every now and then the kids like to sneak in and grab a couple for a bite, those little rascals, but honestly, it's emergency food supply. We are farmers, after all.
Well, you never know when the drought or the seasons will turn.
Yes. And thankfully we have Minimri to help us if such things happen.
How long has he been in town?
Oh, since I've been a little girl.
How old?
She was the one that helped us through the famine.
Okay. So about roughly 15 years then, okay.
At least 15 years. You'd never ask a woman her age, dear. Especially not an elf.
Well, I mean, doesn't really matter with an elf when they live a couple of centuries to a millennia.
I don't know how old she is, but she wasn't always our druid, She just recently took on... Well, I say recently, but it's for an elf. So,
recently for an elf,
20
but
years?
15 years is a decent amount of time, yes. So,
Yes.
Okay, just give me a moment. Just want to kind of take a meander and look through this place, and I'll ask any questions if I see anything interesting. Investigation, I assume, was perception at this point.
Yeah, you can roll investigation, kind of poke around a bit. So, a 13 on investigation, you just kind of poke around, and you're looking for any traces of any kind of, disease or infection.
Mold.
But this place is pretty well kept.
That kind of stuff. Anything that makes the wheat look off.
Yeah, it all looks fine to you. It's honestly a really well kept. It's a really well kept silo, and you understand that perhaps it has to be because town_name is, obviously somewhat famous for its wheat. It's just like nestled in this valley near a river, just like kind of that perfect farmland spot. And they've got a druid helping them because it's very important that they get their wheat harvested. Because a lot of people count on them, and they honestly do a great job.
So it's a breadbasket area, literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they feed hundreds of people.
AKA, in times of war, this would be the first place put to the torch.
Yes, most likely.
You would know about that.
Now, the question is, do you say that out loud?
Let me double check my flaws and stuff here. Yeah, I enjoy violence and mayhem a bit too much and stuff like that. I am chaotic. I probably would bubble this under my breath as I'm taking a look at it, but it seems more like, oh wow, you guys are doing such good jobs about here that in times of war, oh god.
Yes, we don't like to talk about that. We all understand that, but please don't say that in front of anyone. We all love town_name.
Well, something or someone doesn't love you, considering your current plague issue.
Well, I mean, these things happen. It's what happens when you live in nature, after all. I do hope it's not like a lich's curse or something. That would be terrible.
Oh, well, if this was a lich's curse, you'd probably see people coming back from the dead.
Oh, that would be that sounds wonderful. I do miss my father.
Really? Oh, yeah, you do know that if they come back from the dead, they're probably going to try to eat your face, right?
Oh, that doesn't sound as good anymore.
No. Necromancy and those kinds of arts tend to not be positive things.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm just, I'm a farmer.
I'm just a country pumpkin.
A country bumpkin who apparently knows what a lich is.
Everyone knows what a lich is, please. They're so overused. Would you like to sample some of our bread? The fresh bread of town_name is to die for.
Do you still have a winning bakery during all of this?
Well, I mean, we all have kitchens. Everyone in town knows how to make bread. I mean, we're a wheat farming village.
I'm pretty sure not everybody, well, they may know it, but I'm sure not everyone in town's a good cook.
Well, no, not everyone in town's a good cook, but at least everyone knows how to make bread. Not all bread is the same, but at least everyone knows how to make it.
We could immediately hear in the distance this guy's wife just yelling, "Are you bitching about my bread again?"
Well, if you don't like bread, you could always put some jam on top.
Is jam normally taken a lot around here?
Well, I mean, some people eat jam with their bread. I mean, that's what normal people do.
Okay. If you have any same bread that a lot of the other people take, I'll gladly take some of that.
I mean, we all just eat bread. It's bread.
I mean, like, you say that, but is there like a main source for the bread that's given to the sick people?
The sick people can't eat bread. They can't keep it down.
I ever thought of soaking it in some form of liquid to help it go down?
I mean, would you like to eat soggy bread? It's just not the same.
You've never dipped your bread in a nice, good stew?
What is wrong with you? She's looking at you as if you've committed treason.
We are.
No, I'm just kidding. We mainly do jam around here, but yes, we do stew every now and then, especially during winter time.
Yeah, and you've never dipped...
And butter, of course, because, we have the cows.
And you've never dipped a hot loaf of bread into your stew before to help soak up all of that juice?
Not a hot loaf, no. A cold one, perhaps. See, it bounces out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for fear of continuing this conversation,
I'm gonna go to the mills.
All right.
If this and the other storage areas for the grain seems to be about the same as what I just saw here, I'm gonna go check out the mills then.
All right. Well, we'll come back to you. Let's go with Pelagius first. Pelagius, you were going to question most of the sick people.
Yes.
Correct. All right. Go ahead. You make your way to the barn, and you notice a few people hurrying back and forth. Someone stops you and says, "Sir, please, there are sick people inside."
I know.
I know we all sound the same, but you're in great danger.
Do not worry. I do know that this disease doesn't get contracted by touch. At least that's what Miriam said. That druid.
Yes, Minimri. Our town druid.
Yes.
Yes. Are you one of the adventurers sent to him?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Please don't bother anyone that is sleeping, and just try not to weary them. They've been through a lot. We all have.
Yes, but to get to the bottom of this situation, I require a volunteer.
I'm concerned, but go ahead.
Preferably a person who has been sick, as I
She just kind of lets you into the barn.
Yes.
Inside the barn, you see just a bunch of litters on the ground and people just kind of cramping. There's obviously a bunch of vomit stains on the ground. It smells terrible, but as soon as someone throws up or pukes, you can see someone nearby just immediately cleans it up, takes the cloth to like a wash station, and you can tell they're trying their best.
Yes.
But there's still plenty of sick people on the ground.
I look around and I look for someone who looks sick but who is not sleeping.
All right, you look around and you see this guy and dressed in basically his undershirt, and he's just kind of got his arm on his head, just kind of moaning. But he's got a good healthy color, and as you're watching for about 5 minutes, he hasn't puked. He's breathing steadily. He's got, full color. So it looks like he's doing better than most.
Okay, I'll move to him. Hello there, good sir. You seem to be slightly sick, but not as sick as are the others.
Oh, hello there. Yes, I'm good. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Yeah. Man, this is rough. This is the second time. I'm just now coming out of it.
I see.
I just want to eat something other than good berries.
So you say this is your second time?
Oh yeah, I was some of the first. I got sick and puked up and whatnot. Then I got better. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat so much bread because that's what we do here in town_name. We just eat bread. But anyway, yeah, I was good for about a day or two, but then I came back and it got worse. Well, I got worse. This is pretty much like the first time.
I see. I am here to help Megatron. I mean, Minimary.
Oh, yeah, okay. I get you.
So, may I do a physical on you to see what kind of a situation you are in? And,
oh man, I'm not gonna get naked.
You don't have to get naked unless you want to, and you don't want to get naked, so...
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I guess it's fine. Just be careful of the stomach. It's still a little upset.
Of course. I am a doctor, sort of. And, can I...
What was that?
I'll just ignore that, and, can I do a medicine roll to give him a quick physical...
Yeah, and I'll give you advantage because Minimary kind of gave you a good set of, what to expect. And you've been kind of mulling it over on your way over.
Well, thank you for that.
Thankfully, 13 is better than a 6. Yeah. You do roll medicine check. He's getting color back into his skin. He looks, kind of gaunt, almost as if he's lost some weight. But there's no like puke on it, stains anywhere. He looks like he's on the road to recovery. But you really can't, like, what are you trying to determine with this medicine check? What specifically?
I am just trying to figure out his, general status. So, how goddamn sick he is.
Well, general status is not good, but getting better.
Okay.
And they're going to try and get him on solid foods here soon, is what he says. He's like, yeah, they're gonna try and get me on solid foods again here soon.
I see. So, as you said, this was your second time of doing the puke mumbo, or whatever this box is called.
Oh, yeah, it sucks. It really sucks.
Can you remember what you were doing before, you got sick for the first time?
Yeah, I was just hanging out at the tavern. I mean, I usually just move stuff. Like I'm hired hand. I don't work for any one farm. But if they're like, oh, my cow got stuck in the mud, I'll be like, all right, I'll come help you. And I don't get paid much, but it's an honest living. And I've got a small little cottage out here.
Yes. Quite interesting.
So, let's see. When it all started, I was in the tavern. I think we had a bit of a party. It wasn't like big party. It was just the rancher_names. So just had a litter of pigs. And there weren't any complications with the birth or nothing, so a couple of us ranchers and farmers got together.
Mazel tov.
Just, what does that mean? Is that some kind of spell?
No, I think that's for good luck. I heard it somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you. But yeah, we were just, we just kind of let loose just a little bit. Drinks, food. There's not much that goes on around here at town_name, but we try to, keep ourselves.
Yes.
keep ourselves busy.
I see. How many other people were partying with you?
There were probably about 10 of us. You know, it was just kind of a
Did everyone get sick?
you know, I think just about every single one of us got sick, except for you know what? I think Billy Bob didn't get sick though. Well, not that day. You know what? I don't think I've seen him around here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think Billy Bob got sick.
Interesting.
But I mean, he ate like all the food with us, and he drank with us, and he was there with us, and we were playing, you know, board games like spit in each other's mouths and see who could pick whose nose.
I see. Very festive.
You know, the typical town_name games.
Yes. Let's see.
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Well, I wouldn't know. I have a minor case of major brain damage.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, I won't remember that tomorrow.
I'm concerned.
Don't be. I'm a
You're
doctor.
the person Minimri asked to help. Oh, okay. I guess that's better.
Yes. Well, since you got better for once, did you go back to the tavern?
No, I just went back home, and you know, my wife makes the best bread, and it's just, you know, put a little butter on it, put a little jam on it, and you eat it. But you know, I was still kind of weak, so I just kind of put the bread. I just kind of like chopped up the bread and put a slab of butter, a slab of jam in a bowl, and just kind of mix it all together. And my wife looked at me like she was disgusted, but
Bread
it
porridge.
tasted so good. Yeah, basically, it was great.
Yeah. Whatever floats your goat.
I'm probably gonna do it again.
I see.
Is there anything else I can help you with, Doc? I'm really tired.
One more question. Where do you get your jam and butter?
Jam? Well, butter obviously churned locally because, you know, cows. Jam obviously made locally because it's town_name. We got just about everything here. But no, Mrs. Mulberry's mulberry jam and mulberries. Oh, it's so good.
Mulberry, but not Minimri. Okay.
She does all kinds. Yeah, she does all kinds of jams here in town, and she sells them. She sells them. She goes to Capitals and she sells them, you know, for good money.
Yes.
Because they're amazing. But she gives out a little bit to all the villagers because we help her, she helps us. You know, it's a whole farm thing.
Okay.
But the mulberry jam, oh, it's the best. She had a really good one this year.
Okay, but...
I say that every year, but it's a good one this year.
Yes, sounds lovely. But...
I really hope she gets better soon.
Yes. We all hope you all get better soon. But I did lie because I have one more question. You mentioned about Billy Bob, who hasn't been here, or has been seen anywhere. Where might I find him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's around here somewhere helping out, I'm sure. You just ask around, you'll find him. Everyone knows Billy Bob.
Billy Bob! Where are you, Billy Bob? As Pelagius just wanders off.
Okay, Doc, bye. Okay, so as Pelagius wanders off looking for Billy Bob, we're going to do a quick intercession here with Bryke.
Yep.
Who has followed this woman back to the barn and manages to find her. Bryke, you can see Pelagius wandering around and Billy Bob, but you get around and you manage to find this woman who's brought her son to this barn, and she's brought him inside. What do you wish to do?
I'll try to recall if the druid left us any gooseberries or whatever those were. Good berries, yes.
She did not leave you any good berries. All of the villagers have received their good berry rations today.
Well, except the kid that just got sick.
There might be something you can do, because you just saw Pelagius.
Oh, Pelagius.
Bebo. Oh, yeah.
I think her son or whatever got sick. Like she hurried in here.
Well, that's bad.
Can he do something?
He needs a good berry, I think. I think they were using those, right?
I think so.
Right. So
They were using those, so in case you don't know, a good berry essentially gives you a day's worth of nutrition, as it were. So it's essentially the only thing they can keep down because it's just, so much nutrition packed into so little.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they've been given good berries.
Yes. I guess you need some of them. Give me a moment. As he just gets his holy symbol out, a little sprig of mistletoe, and starts doing a little bit druidic magic, and suddenly in his hand there is then good berries.
Alright, so Pelagius has cast good berry.
Yes.
And now has a handful of good berries.
Mm-hmm. I'll hand them to Bryke and tell, here you go, that should help. But I'm busy, I'm looking for Billy Bob.
Alright.
Billy Bob.
Bryke, you are now standing there, holding a small handful of good berries.
I would go and find the woman.
Alright, so as you head into the barn, you can see, like, she's talking to someone, and one of them says, quick, go find Minimri. We need more good berries.
I have some right here. Don't bother Menemri. She's resting.
Oh, excellent, here. And she just, kind of opens her hand to take them from you.
Good.
And as she takes them, she just, kind of puts them in her pocket and takes one and kind of helps this little kid chew it up. And he's crying because he's been puking and he just kind of shivering and not feeling good. And they eventually get him to eat the good berry.
Alright, madam. I think we have things under control. Would you mind answering a few questions so we might get to the bottom of this?
Jimmy, I don't know, I'm so distraught, I could probably only answer one question before breaking into tears.
Oh, there. And I'll do a gruffly charisma roll.
Alright, what are you asking her?
I am asking about if there's been anyone out of the ordinary around your son before he got sick, or if he's been doing something special.
No, nothing at all. We've just been staying inside trying to, stay away from this plague that's been happening. My husband got it recently, see, and he's been kind of weak, but he should be coming out of it soon, hopefully.
Well, has he eaten anything
I'm
different?
sorry, that's one question. I'm so overcome with grief and despair. Milvana, you wanted to check out this mill.
Yeah, the mills.
You can check out the mill on the farm, but to go to the one down to the river, you'd have to venture off on your own.
Yeah, I guess I'll check.
And you think that maybe that's not a great idea.
No, I'll check at least the farm mill, then.
Alright, you head to the farm mill, and you notice that, there's a spot to hook up either oxen or horses or whatever to get this mill going.
Barbarian kings named Conan.
Yes, but not in this setting.
Yeah.
Anyway, the mill looks like it's been used recently, but not terribly recently. There's obviously some flour still kind of in the mill. There's some grains. It's not, there's nothing hooked up. It's not being used, but otherwise looks clean.
When was the last time this mill was used?
Let's assume that woman is still accompanying you, and she says, I'd say about a week and a half ago, before this whole pox took place.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we've been maintaining it quite well.
I can see that. Not a lot of loose flour anywhere in here, keeping it quite safe from explosions.
From explosions?
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Oh, that's a 2.
Mavana, it's a mill.
Yeah, okay.
It's a mill. They make flour here, which makes bread.
Big hard
So they
rock,
make bread here.
spin rock, take grain into powder. Okay, nothing here. Gonna go find Pelagius and give him carving on wood.
All right, Pelagius, you are searching for Billy Bob. It's actually quite easy to find him. People point you in the right direction. He's basically just kind of doing laundry in the farmhouse, like just cleaning away puke rags and hanging them up to dry. He's sitting there scrubbing away. It's like, oh, I'm Billy Bob.
Well, hello there, Billy Bob. I heard you were partying about a week ago with some of your friends about the piglets born.
Oh yeah, it was great. Great party. Lots of food, lots of drink.
Yes, I heard everybody else except you got sick. Any idea why?
Oh yeah, terrible. I'm just a farmer. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Did you eat?
I mean, everybody ate food and everybody drank.
Did you
We all
eat
had
bread?
fun, and we played spit in each other's mouths. Oh yeah, the bread's great. Bread's great. I love the bread.
Did you have jam?
Oh no, I hate the jam. I'm just not a jam guy. It's too sweet for me.
Oh, I see. I see.
Oh yeah.
I see.
What do you see? What is it? Is there a spider on me? Get it off. I don't like spiders.
No, spider. Just a little tick.
Oh, those guys are fine. That's Jerry, my pet tick.
Cherry tick.
All right, to the puncheon with you.
Goodbye.
All right, and as you guys wrap up your investigations, it becomes somewhat clear to some of you of what is causing perhaps this great plague or pox or whatever have you.
Mm-hmm.